Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet the texture shell stitch. As you can see, it's got a beautiful texture side and it's flat on the other side, and that makes it perfect for creating blankets, afghans, shawls, even edging to your blankets, garments, etc. It uses the picot stitch, which is this one, and the back post method of crocheting, and that gives this pattern this wonderful texture. It just looks like 3D fans, shells, whatever you want to call them. To me, they just look like ruffle feathers, as you can see here. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful pattern, and it's easier to make than you think. So let's get started. For this tutorial, I've used super bulky yarn in gray and a 10mm crochet hook. And the starting chain for this pattern should be multiples of 9 plus 3 chains. So in my case, I made 30 chains. So let's start by double crocheting in the 5th chain. Skip 2 chains. And then double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the same chain. So make a double crochet, chain 1, and then double crochet in the same stitch. And that creates a V-shape stitch. Skip 2 chains and then double crochet in the following 4 chains. Okay, now we skip 2 chains again and create the V stitch in the following chain. So skip 2 and crochet in the next. Double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet in the same stitch. And that's your V. Again, skip 2 and make 4 double crochet in the next stitches. Skip 2 again and make your V stitch in the following chain. So skip 2, double crochet in the next, chain 1 and double crochet again in the same stitch. Now as we reach the end, we skip 2 and we just make 2 double crochet in the last 2 chains. Okay, and this is your first row. So you basically repeat this section, V-stitch, skip 2, 4 double crochet, skip 2 until the end, and then right at the end, after you skip 2, you make 2 double crochet stitches. So turn your work, let's go to the second row and chain 3, then double crochet in the next stitch. So at this point, we will be making the first fan inside this V stitch. So double crochet in the space, the chain 1 space, and we will be making the picot stitch right at the top of it. So to make a picot stitch, chain 3, then go back right at the base, not of the first chain, but the double crochet stitch, right at the base, pick up the 2 loops, you can see here, and slip stitch. You'll basically turn it, it just flips it around, as you can see. It was like that, and when you slip stitch, it just flips it around. And now we'll be making 5 more. So each fan consists of 6 double crochet with a picot stitch at the top. So let's make the second one. So double crochet inside that V stitch space, chain 3 to make the picot, and then insert your hook through the 2 loops. So let me say again, don't insert it in the first chain, insert it right in the top of the double crochet stitch. So it's these 2 loops, and just slip stitch, and as you slip stitch, you can see it just flips around, and that is your picot stitch. So let's make 4 more. Four more double crochet with a picot stitch on top. Okay, we've got 3. Alright, we have 5 now. Let's do the last one, the same space. And this is your first shell. This is the back of your shell. This is the front of your shell. So let's continue. Now skip the next stitches, and we will be making a V stitch in the space between the 4 double crochet. So between the second and third double crochet below, in the space, right in the space here, we will be making the V stitch, which is double crochet, chain 1, and then double crochet in the same space, and that creates the V stitch. Again, skip all these stitches, and make your shell inside the next V stitch. So we'll be making this shell here in the chain 1 space. So just double crochet. Again, make the picot right at the top of it. Don't forget, do not do it in the first chain. Do it in the top of the double crochet stitch that you just made. So the top of it. Get your hook under the 2 loops and just slip stitch, and as you slip stitch, it just flips it around, and you have this cute little picot stitch. So we'll be making 5 more of this in the same space. Okay, two more. I have two more left to do. Each double crochet has a picot stitch right on top of it. Last one. And that's your second shell. Again, skip the stitches and make your V stitch in the space between the second and third double crochet below. So in this space here, double crochet, chain one, and double crochet in the same chain one space, the same space. You can see here between the second and third double crochet you just made below. And now make your last fan in the following V stitch. So we'll be skipping all these chain stitches and we will be crocheting in a chain one space of the V stitch below. So again, 5 double crochet stitches with a picot at the top, and that will create the shell stitch. Okay, 3 more, 4 more, sorry. Just push it, can pull it a little bit in one side so you can create the next double crochet stitches. Okay, so we have the 6 stitches forming the fan, and now we skip this stitch and double crochet in the last 2 stitches. So these double crochet borders, you'll have them through your work going all on the sides. You're always gonna have 2 double crochet stitches. So we will be crocheting in them, 1 double crochet in each. Okay, so here we go. This is the back of the work because that's how you work it. Your second row, and this is the front. These are your fan stitches. There you go. Your second row. And just remember, if you want to make your work bigger than this, just repeat this section of V-stitch, shell, V-stitch, shell. So this section you repeat until the end of the row, and right at the end you double crochet in the last 2 stitches so you can create the straight border. Right, so let's turn and continue with 3rd row. So as usual, we double crochet in the first 2 stitches, so we chain 3, that counts as a double crochet, Then we double crochet in the following stitch, and now we chain 1, we double crochet in the back post. So this is how we create the texture. We double crochet in this back post behind your work. So let me turn it around. We're talking about this. This is the back post. So we will be double crocheting in them. So skip the first, because you make 6, we will only be double crocheting in 4 of them. So we're gonna skip the first and the last, and we'll do double crochet stitches in the middle 4. So skip the first, double crochet in the next. It's just a regular double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook from top to bottom, yarn over again, and make your double crochet stitch as usual. So make 4, and you can see now how it just erases the shell, so it just looks 3D now. So let's continue. We skip the next back post and we just make a V-stitch in the chain 1 space here. So double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet in the same chain 1 space. It's just made a V-stitch inside a V-stitch. And now we just repeat this section until the end of the row. So 4 back post double crochet, V-stitch. Just keep repeating that until the end of the row. So again, skip the first back post and 4 back post double crochet in the next stitches. Just regular double crochet stitches right in the back. And this method gives this pattern the thick texture. There you go. You can see already how it just pushes the shell out. It makes it look 3D. Okay, so let's make the V-stitch in a chain in here, in a V-stitch, in a chain 1 space, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet again. And again, 4 back posts, skip 1, and 4 back post double crochet stitches, then skip 1 again. Okay, last one. All right. And now we are at the end. We're not going to make a V-stitch. We are just going to double crochet in the last 2 stitches as usual. So double crochet, and in the last one another double crochet. And this creates the base for the next shells. So here you go, that's your third row. You now see how the shells are pushed forward. Once you crochet the next shells, it will flatten but just a little bit. You can see here. It's just beautiful. And don't forget to repeat this section. It's V-stitch for back post double crochet. This is the section you repeat until the end of the row, and then just finish it with 2 double crochet, just like the other rows, just to create a nice border like here. So let's turn and continue with the 4th row. Now we'll be making shells, but the shells will not be on top of the other shells, will be in between the shells. So where you made your V-stitches, we will be creating the shells. So you'll only have 2 shells here. So let's turn and chain 3, and that counts as a double crochet. So chain 3 and then double crochet in the next. Okay, and now you have these 4 back post double crochet stitches. What you do, you chain 1 and make your V-stitch there between the 2nd and the 3rd one. So in the space between the 2nd and 3rd double crochet below, make a double crochet, chain 1 and then another double crochet in the same space, and that's your V-stitch, as you can see. Now skip all the other stitches, and in the following V-stitch we're gonna make the shell. So double crochet in the chain 1 space of the V-stitch, and then we will be making the picot right at the top, just to give extra texture. And we will be making 5 more. So just like the other shells, this shell has 6 double crochet stitches in it, each with a picot at the top. So when it comes to tension, make sure your tension is relaxed. Don't make your work too tight. As you can see, I always work more loose, especially with these sort of textures. Your work will be thick anyway, so you don't want it to be curling and really tight. Just keep your tension relaxed. And if you crochet really tight, then use a larger, one size larger hook, and that will help you making looser stitches. So that is another tip you can use if you're a really tight crocheter. So there you go, we have 6 double crochet stitches with each with a picot at top, and that is your shell. Then again, skip all the stitches, and we will be crocheting between the 2nd and 3rd. So you have your all 4 here. Between the 2nd and 3rd space here, we will be making the V-stitch. So double crochet in a space, chain 1 and double crochet again in the same space, and there's your V. And again, all you do now is repeat this section, V-stitch, shell stitch, V-stitch, and now shell stitch, and then another V-stitch, and that's where we end. So really this section here, V-stitch, and shell stitch. You repeat this section until the end of the row. And once you reach the end, you double crochet in the last two stitches. So you go, and we go forward to the next V-stitch, and we will be making the next shell. So double crochet in it, make the picot to the top, and repeat that 5 more times. So you need 6 in total. It is a bit of a yarn eater, but all beautiful stitches are yarn eaters. Unfortunately, you can't make a beautiful blanket if you're not willing to use the amount of yarn. Otherwise, there will be boring double crochet blankets. And this stitch, I think it's well worth the yarn, if you ask me. Okay, 5, 1 more. With a picot. And there you go, our last, is it our last shell? Yes, it is. And we will be making the V-stitch between the second and third double crochet. So you can see here, this space here, a V-stitch. So again, double crochet in a space, chain 1, double crochet in the same space. And now we reach the end of the row. All we have to do is chain 1 and double crochet in the last 2 stitches, just to create that border. Okay, just insert the hook in the last stitch. There it goes. This is the back, and this is the front. And now you can see how your work starts. It starts to look like the feathers that I was talking about. All right, so we will be making, basically this is a repeat of these rows, but I will show you another of this row with 3 shells, because when you finish your work, you should always finish it with a row, on a row that has the most shells. So this one with 3. So let's continue with the next row. Chain 3, then double crochet, and now you have this V-stitch. We will be making another V-stitch in it. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and we will be making the base for the next shell. So basically we need to make the base where we build the next shell. So now we go back to crocheting in the back post loops, and we will skipping 1 and make 4 double crochet in the next stitches. So skip 1, double crochet in a following back post. Again, to be making 4 of those. Okay, Okay, so now we have 4 of them. We crochet the V-stitch in the V-stitch below. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in a chain 1 space of the V-stitch below. And now we basically repeat this section. V-stitch, 4 back post double crochet, V-stitch, 4 back post double crochet. Skip the first one. As you can see here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We skip the first one and the last one, and you have 4 left in which you back post double crochet. Just your regular double crochet in that loop behind your work. Okay, now a V-stitch in the V-stitch below, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and we are at the end. And what we do is double crochet in the last 2 stitches. So first double crochet and last double crochet. There you go. And again, you can see the shells are just pushed forward. Isn't that beautiful? Look how beautiful it is. And from the front, and it's just thick and warm, and it will look beautiful in a blanket. Okay, there you go. And now I'll show you the last row, and make sure you finish on that row. You don't want your blanket to finish like this. You want your blanket to finish with a shell stitch. So I'll be making that. So this is, I guess, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So row 7 is a double crochet in the next one, and then we make the first shell in a V-stitch. Then we will be making a V-stitch between the second and third, another shell, another V-stitch, another shell, and so on until the end. So let's make the shell stitch made out of 6 double crochet with a picot each on top in the chain 1 space of the V-stitch. So if you're working with a thick yarn, like I do, just push it on one side so you can fit all the stitches. Okay. Okay, we should have 6 now. We have, yes, 6. Now we move over to making the V-stitch in between the second and third double crochet. So in a space there, make the V-stitch. Okay, double crochet, and chain 1 and double crochet in the same space. And basically just repeat this section until the end. Shell, V-stitch, shell, V-stitch. So we'll be making the shell now. As I said before, each shell has 6 double crochet stitches with a picot at the top each, and the picot is made by chaining 3, insert your hook at the top of the double crochet you just made and slip stitch through. That's how you make it. So we've got 4, 2 more. Okay. Now the next V-stitch between the second and third double crochet below in a space. Make your V-stitch. There you go. And the last shell in the row. Okay, so we got 4, 2 more, double crochet, make a picot by chaining 3, slip stitch at the base, and go on to the next double crochet and the picot. Right, so there it is, last shell. And we are at the end of the row, so we won't be making a V-stitch. Instead, we are double crocheting in the last 2 stitches to create the border. So double crochet and double crochet in the last, and that's your 7th row. And this is the back, which is flat, as you can see. It's still pretty, but not as pretty as the top. And this is how you should finish your project with this row. So basically repeat rows 4 through 7. So this last 4 rows, repeat until you have the required length. And you can see it's just beautiful. You can see it. So much texture. And this is how you crochet the textured shell stitch. I hope you found my tutorial easy to follow. Don't forget to subscribe to Crafting Happiness YouTube channel for more tutorials like this one. And follow me on social media for behind the scene photos, free crochet patterns, and updates on future projects. Happy crocheting!